Hello everyone, this is Kirusho here, and yes, if I'm surprised I didn't get many comments on it, but I am bringing Island into this what if. I've been asked about the ship for this what if. I have kept it vaguely to a minimum. I was thinking about doing something, but I thought against it. Now then, I was going to go with a standardized ship, but I realized that with Melissa being quirkless, this might be the best one I can try. Because I did have an idea of just changing something small. I was gonna give Melissa a quirk. She's still gonna be that whole personality of Canon Melissa, but it's just she doesn't think her quirk is very strong, so she would have never trained it. Now, on the plane to go to Island, Deku is asking, why is he coming here? Or why is All Might taking him to Island? All Might would explain that, well, for one thing is that not only did you give me a run for my money in the Heroes versus Villains, or Teachers versus Student exam, but also that was the furthest he probably had to push himself in a good long while. So not only is he gonna see about finding a successor on this island since you rejected my power, I am also going to see if I can talk to David Shield, an old colleague of mine, and an old friend. Now, they would give the whole explanation on the way there, and Deku would be told that Melissa Shield, David Shield's daughter, actually has a quirk similar to Deku's. Deku would be told by All Might, and All Might would explain that her quirk is the exact opposite of Deku's. It requires her to be calm, and requires her to basically produce light. Deku would say so. She's like heavenly, kinda. All Might would say yes, but no, because she doesn't produce. Well, she's not an angel. Well, she is, but she isn't. She doesn't have wings, or angel wings. Deku would then be told that her quirk, she never trained it, because the last time she trained it, or tried to use it, she accidentally set David's lab on fire. Yes, that is going to give a little backstory to that. I don't remember how his lab got set on fire, but I'm pretty sure it was, oh hey, all this happened. All Might did something. I don't really remember the movie very well. But a bit of a retcon in every what if before this. The reason why I didn't include Island was because I didn't have proper time to recap the movie. Now then, a bit of a plot point is, for the other what ifs, let's say the events of Island never happened. Or they did happen, but they were just in the background. So a missing episode. Or a lost episode, if you will. Now then, they would go through the whole inspection, and a lot of the people would actually try and detain Deku, saying that his quirk is too dangerous for him to be on this island. Deku would just say that he doesn't care. He's with All Might. All Might would explain that doesn't make any sense because he always comes to the island, and he's the strongest person in the world. So the boy will be fine. They would accept this since it's All Might. They think he's invincible. Now, after that, this is whenever Deku and them would then, All Might would then meet with Melissa. Melissa would be enthusiastic to finally meet Midoriya, saying that, oh my god, like, I'm your biggest fan, and I saw you during the sports festival. Albeit you were a bit scary. Deku would apologize, saying that he didn't mean that. It's just that that guy is an old friend. is one of his childhood friends, and he's an asshole. So she would understand this, and this is whenever they would all be introduced to everyone else. Hey, Bakugo is on this island too, along with most of Class 1A, including Mineta. Unfortunately. Now then, this is whenever her and Deku would actually explain. Well, she would explain that everything that is about this island is about basically science about quirks, especially Deku's quirk, because she says that she wants to try testing his blood and saying a couple things about his quirk. And this is whenever they would be walking by the area, and Deku would see it, and she'd Bakugo actually going around destroying the robots. And now then. He would then look at this and actually see him, saying that that's weird that Bakugo is here. He would just shake it off. He would then see that Bakugo scored 8 points and he's being very cocky. This is whenever he would walk up to the starting line after changing into his hero costume, and Bakugo would look and see Deku. Deku in his hero costume, because like I said, all he ever does now is he wears the pants and the wrap around his waist. People would then see Now then, as soon as Deku would step up to the plate to actually at the starting line, people would see him and they were talking about who that guy is. People were saying that his face looks familiar and that the other guy was from Class 1A, right? So what is this guy's quirk? As soon as Deku makes that mark on his forehead and his eyes change color, his body would immediately shoot out the darkness and automatically create the wraps around his arms and cover all... Wait, that was Katsumi. Oh, he's back early, is he? Or... Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out later. That just threw me off my game. Okay, now, he would create the gauntlets around his arms, leading all the way up to his shoulders. He'd create the shirt around his waist and his back, and actually a little bit of the blazer, because he would just have it connected up to his neck. So he wouldn't have it open. But he would then open it, hearing that he was only going to be fighting against robots. So he would actually look like this, for once, in this What If. Now, people are looking at him and staring at him, saying that that's the guy that won the sports festival, right? The one with the villain quirk. Deku would immediately shoot a look into the audience, and this is whenever everyone would just stop talking. He would then turn to them, saying that he's no villain. In fact, he's the next #1 hero. People wouldn't believe him, and this is whenever Melissa would start cheering on Deku. People look at her, and then they would see that she's cheering him on. Deku would shoot her a thumbs up and then get in a stance for the chorus. Now, as soon as they say go, Deku would immediately just run through the course in less than 2 seconds. And what I mean by that is he would break through all the robots, go up the hill, break those, come back down, and come to the finish line. And as soon as the woman said go, there was just this giant sonic burst. Then all the robots would explode at once, and you would just see Deku sitting down at the finish line in 2 seconds. People are confused, and this is whenever Melissa would just be dumbfounded by what just happened, and Deku would just walk off, saying that was a neat warm-up, but I need something a bit more serious. Melissa would then say that they have a gym that All Might used to work out at, or a place where All Might used to be, or something specialized for All Might to use, like to train himself. Deku would be interested by this and actually ask her to lead the way. That did not turn out how I wanted it to with my voice. Lead the way. Now, as soon as she said that, he would go there and see a lot of the equipment, but he would just say that that doesn't look very good. And he would actually say that they should just go get some coffee or something to drink. They would go to a cafe and run into Mineta and Kaminari. They're asking about the hot blonde Deku. She would blush, and Deku would just say, "This is Melissa." And she has a quirk that's basically the opposite of mine. So we're just hanging out and talking. Now, after that, they would go to the lab and she would actually show Deku a prototype that she was working on. She's saying that she's trying to develop it for her quirk, but it might work better for Deku's. Because all she can really do is blast light in one direction. She can control it, but not very well. Deku would ask her to at least try showing him how to use her quirk, and she would show him, and he could see how much little restraint she has on her own quirk. Deku would then say that this is going to be a minute. He would then spend the next hour or two showing her how to properly use her quirk, and she would somewhat be able to do what Deku can. He would show her like how he does his mode kind of like this, so she would do that, but she's essentially covered in like a blinding light, and she's saying that this might be the most she's had control over her quirk in years, if not a decade, since the last time she tried using it. Deku would say that that might be true, but I constantly had to train my quirk. The reason why I'm so strong is because of how much control I have over it. In fact, I lost control and nearly killed a couple villains. And I actually have killed only one villain. Melissa would actually say that that's not very hero-like, but Deku would explain, and she would appreciate this. Now, after that, Melissa and Deku would actually talk more and more, and it would get to the point where they would actually go to that ball dance place where they all get dressed up and all fancy. Now, this is whenever the villains would arrive, lock down the area, tie up All Might. But before that, Deku and Melissa, people would have arrived. Deku would probably be around the first person to arrive. And people are surprised because he's essentially cleaned up and looking a bit more like this. But he doesn't have the shoes and he has an all black attire, along with a lot more muscle and probably about 2 more inches. Higher, taller. Now then, some of the girls are commenting that Deku actually looks pretty nice, and he would just say that he got all cleaned up, or he just cleans up very well. Melissa would then arrive in a white dress, saying that, well, yeah, you have to look nice for this. He would agree, and he would explain that this is Melissa's shield. Her quirk is the opposite of mine, and she is David Shield's daughter. Now, after that, they would have been dancing. Everything would have happened similar to canon, but after that, this is whenever everything would happen. Deku and Melissa would have immediately gone to the power room, trying to shut everything down, shut the robots down, and undo the lockdown procedure. They're having trouble with that, so they would just have to keep climbing the tower over and over again. Kaminari and everyone, along with Denki, they all would do what they did in canon with the whole... He would try and shock the robots. That wouldn't work. So Deku would just immediately punch his way through. Now, after punching his way through and getting to the top, this is whenever they would be met with the robots. Uraka and everyone else is saying that there's no way they can get up there. This is whenever Deku would say, well, I wouldn't say that. He would then immediately pick up Melissa and jump up into the air, creating the giant claws on the bottom of his feet. Do I have him in here? Yeah, creating the giant claws on the bottom of his feet, like that. And he would immediately just walk up the wall. Everyone kind of would just shake this off as they need to focus on combat. And since people are stronger, they're having less trouble. Bakugo and Kirishima, along with Denki and Todoroki, would have less troubles against those villains. But David Spade and everyone else. Bleh. Okay, I just now realized something. How come no one questioned me hitting my head against my wall in, I think, part 6 of me recording, the what if? Because I almost just did that again. And I just realized no one questioned it. I'm really happy no one questioned it, but now it kind of just brought that up to my mind. Yeah, my brain just brought that up to me again. Now then. Anyways. The villain would get brainwashed and his quirk enhanced. And I'm pretty sure he was brainwashed. I need to go over that movie again if I'm going to continue doing what ifs. The villain would get brainwashed and have his quirk enhanced. So Deku would eventually break All Might out. Well, everyone would eventually get that place unlocked down, get back to the ballroom, and unlock the whole thing with All Might. He would go up to the roof to help Deku and to help everyone else. And yeah. Now, the battle with the giant robot. Deku's able to easily punch through a lot of this stuff that's going on, that's flying at him. And he would have been able to eventually get up to the guy after ripping the robot apart. And actually, Melissa's somewhat trying to help him, but she's basically only able to make a blade sharp enough to cut through these rocks. And even then, she's able to fire it off in front of her, and it would cut through anything in front of her, but it's not very strong. It's something Deku can do with his darkness, but doing it with light would probably be more deadly. So her quirk might be stronger than Deku's. But at this point, it's hard to tell. Now, her and Deku, All Might, they would all be trying to do this and hold the giant thing off. Deku and All Might would eventually do that double Detroit smash, kinda, and defeat this villain and rip off that headpiece. Now, Deku is saying that Melissa handled herself well for the first time in a mission, but she needs more training if she wants to be a hero. She would say that she really doesn't want to be a hero, and she's kind of good on the science division part. Deku would say that your quirk might be stronger than mine, Melissa. You would be a good hero. Come on. I'll even help train you. How about that? She would then actually just run to Deku and kiss him. And yeah, Deku would be taken aback by this, and he would just kiss her back, not knowing what to do. Everyone would arrive seeing this, and that would all happen. The next day, before they leave Island, Melissa would actually join them and leave, saying that this place really doesn't have anything left for her, because her dad's in jail, and that left... She doesn't want to be in his shadow, the reputation in Island. So now then, after that, they have been going there to the mainland. All Might would have asked Deku who should get his quirk. He would have just said that Melissa should, since she needs to catch up a bit. Now, Deku would All Might would say that that might not be a good idea because she still needs to get stronger. Deku would say that he can help train her so that she can get stronger. And yeah, now that is gonna be where I leave this part off of. So yeah, now I need to re-go over that movie if I'm gonna start bringing it into what ifs. But I probably might not bring it in a certain what ifs just so I can leave out a plot thread. But let's just say in those other what ifs, this event did not happen. So that is because of how the timeline has changed. Because I want to say if All Might never got his injury, then he probably never would have caught, or that incident in David Spade's lab probably would never happen. So that's going to be my explanation for those. I will try and find a better one. Multiverse theory, so anything can happen. How about that? Because that's really the only thing I can think of that would actually make sense. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I really do need to recap that movie a bit more. It's been a minute since I've seen it.